Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Beat the Designer. This is the Xbox version. My name is the Headhunter. Today we are going to be playing against Walk Your Talk, aka R. Tomboli on the HB forums. I've played two of his courses previously, and against his ghost I am one win and one loss, so this is the big tiebreaker match. We are going to be playing on the Cypress Point Golf Club. I figured today would be a good time to get this little championship match in before the NFL championships. So hopefully you enjoy. Let's get set up here. Find his ghost. If he has one in the top, I don't think he does. Not in the global scores. How about recent? Well, that could be a problem. I don't see him listed here. Unfortunately, I don't have him on my friends list, so we may have to rectify that. Not sure that I can find him otherwise without being on the friends list, or if he's near the top of the leaderboards. Let's see. So I don't think it'll be under suggested. That's maybe something HB should have, is a the designer should always be able to have his score up there, but yeah, I don't see it. Huh. Alright. Let me see. Okay, they're back. Let's see. I tried sending him a friend request, but I don't know if it's gonna work that quickly. I don't know how fast this will update. It probably won't. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I don't see it suggested. It would probably be, should be here in the friends. Alright, let me see if I back up and try and load the course again. Somehow knowing, that the servers usually take a little time to update, we may have to postpone this one for a little bit. Let's see, it's not coming up under the friends, so it's probably going to take a little while for it to update, even though I added them to my friends list. See, that's one of the issues I can run into. I really need to add people to my friends list just to make sure that I can get their ghost. Because if they're not at the top of the leaderboard on their own course, then there's a chance that it may not show up. So, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to pause this one for a little bit and come back to it. Actually, maybe what I can do is maybe I'll switch back. Unfortunately, my course yesterday, the video on my course was the audio was all screwed up, so maybe we'll do that. And I'll go back into my course. Can add here. I was shot 11 under in this one. What the heck? Let's go for it. So unfortunately the title's going to be a little different on the feed, but so I'm actually going to play my own course again. I played it last night, but the audio was completely screwed up. So we'll go back and play this one again. Hopefully the audio is now working properly, and I can replace that old video. But or maybe I can just add this one to it because the other one was a pretty epic match. So anyway. What I was saying, hopefully, that you can hear now is I designed this in the countryside theme. I wasn't sure that I was going to like it, but after having gone through and done some holes, I really, really like this theme. I think there's been some really nice courses on it. So what I did here is kind of a downhill par 4. It slopes right to left, so you want to hit that right side of the fairway.
5 yards out from here.
And then you got a nice downhill shot. Nice little pond there on the right. So, loft up a little bit here. My greens and fairways I usually always make receptive on all my courses. I try and stay in that 11 to 1 o'clock range.
Good stuff.
I don't know, I've played courses that are really firm, and all you do is go through the back of the green every time and you're chipping, so I don't really find that as fun, so I prefer to kind of keep it in the mid-range. I mean, if I'm going to speed up the greens, I'll lower the firmness, that way they're more receptive, and vice versa. If I'm going to make it a little firmer, well then I'll slow down the greens. Let's see what we can do here. Hopefully I can make this. Holy cow.
All right, we got about a foot to the hole. Let's do that.
How did that not drop?
And the next hole coming up.
All right.
Okay, and 2 points on the scorecard after that.
So, number 2. Long par 4. Starts out, there's the pond from 1, goes down into a stream and runs out. And then the hole comes out and dog legs to the right around the trees. Downwind, you might be able to reach those bunkers. But then it just plays out to the green there. So with this wind, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to those bunkers, but you still want to stay to that left side, because if you get too far to the right, those trees on the corner will definitely affect your shot. So that should put me in good position.
All right. Looks like around 195-ish yards to the pin here.
195 into the little wind. This should be pretty good. I think the wind will hold it up just enough. Yeah, there we go. That'll give me a good birdie putt at it. As you can see, my ghost was even better position. My ghost had a great, that was a great round that I had there.
From here.
I'm playing again, so it's going to be extremely tough to beat. See if we can make one here. That looks pretty good. Oh yes.
Wow, that was just awesome.
Match that birdie that my ghost put up.
And after that hole, you're at 5 points.
So this hole, par 3, I went really short par 3. I kind of took a design chance here. I think short par 3s are extremely hard to make, or at least make competitive. Thanks. So I kind of I like the way the tree is here, short and left, kind of adds a little depth perception. Kind of hit over this little barranca type thing with all the bushes and then bushes in the back. Green does have a little break. It'll kind of feed down from left to right here, down towards the pin. So I think if you didn't have use the scout cam, I think this would be a really cool par 3. It would definitely kind of play with what you're looking at. So I think 120 into a little wind, that should be perfect.
Looking good.
Yeah, so unless you have a strong wind,
Okay, nice approach. 9-footer
you're
here.
pretty much going to be set up with a pretty decent birdie putt on this hole. And my ghost hammering it into the cup for another bird. And I'll match him as well. All
and
right.
after that hole, you're sitting at 8
So
points.
this is the 4th hole. Decent par 4, plays downhill off the tee, and then you're going to end up going back up the hill. Bunkers on the right, definitely reachable. Downwind, you can easily carry them. The bunkers on the left, you can definitely reach with a favorable wind. So you want to kind of take them between. Nice rock formation behind the green. And the house up on the hill. Yeah, Fusion for sure. Get a little confidence as you go into a couple of tougher holes. But even last night I played it, and I forget if I may have bogeyed it, or I think I made a decent putt for par. I did not play the wind properly at all. So, not a guaranteed birdie, but if light winds for sure, you'll definitely have an easy birdie putt.
This is a beauty.
So as you can see, that was a crosswind, and got close enough to the bunker. So
And
downwind, that'll
you were
definitely be in
about
play. So now,
150 yards.
mid-iron back
I'd
up the
say.
hill. A little bit of a crosswind. That should be pretty good. Oh, a little deep.
On the green, but you still got a lot of work to do. For the bird.
So again, I'm not a big fan of huge sloping greens. Definitely no reds on my greens. Sometimes you might see a little bit of yellow, but I kind of like to make it, subtle. So you got a good chance. Use most of my courses, you can score pretty well. 25-footer, I don't know if that's going to get there. No, I didn't hit it hard enough.
Little 6-footer here, nothing too scary.
See if we can make this. It's a 3-putt. And I just
Slightly
did.
to moderately
Dang it.
Disappointing there.
One of the exciting things with this
I'm
course
happy to move
actually
on.
is now, this and one of my other ones actually, this one in Durham Springs, are actually on
And
the
after that, you're sitting
HB
at
suggested
9 points on
courses
the
list. I'm assuming just HB maybe played it and really liked it, so they put them both on there, which is pretty exciting as a designer. And then I just noticed this morning that when you go to play around, before you can choose that button that says all courses, and it shows all the tiles of the courses. This course, the Golf Club of Hunter Meadows, is actually in the top right tile. So that's pretty exciting. I don't know how many people actually see that, because I kind of, truthfully, I just skip over that every time as I go to play.
Looks like you'll be in the short stuff here.
But with only maybe 6 courses listed up there, that's pretty exciting.
Okay,
So
about
this
130 yards
430
out.
par 5. You definitely want to avoid that junk that was on the left there. You want to get this back to the pin, as there is a little. Actually, there's a little red on my green. Oops, snuck in there. But you want to get it to that back shelf back there. Have a little bit easier putt. The back green will slope from back to front. So if I get back here, this should be a downhill
Okay,
putt.
we're putting from around 15 feet out.
Not too bad, but a little bit. And my ghost made another putt. Thank you, Fusion. Cool. Appreciate it. Yeah, I really liked this theme. I like the way this countryside theme came out. Like I said, I wasn't sure I was going to like it. And then after, designing a course, I get in there. I missed it. I really liked I really like the way the things looked.
All right, nice little 2-foot putt.
And then with this one, I really took the time to
Next hole coming up.
do a bunch of planting. It's kind of that risk you run into is you don't
And
want
after
to
that hole, you're
overdo
sitting
it
at
and then have the
11
course lag
points.
or take a million years to load. So it's kind of a fine line. But again, you want to avoid this area. This bunker, not really in play unless for the strongest of winds. I mean, 6 miles an hour. I should clear that easily. It is downwind, definitely a reachable par 5. The
All right, looking good so far.
little design part I put in is if you get a little too far to the right, this is actually a perfect tee shot. You get a little too far to the right, and then you'll see there's a tree right here on the corner.
And this one looks like around 240
That
yards
tree right
out.
there, if you're far right, you're going to be blocked out. You're going to have to, work it around the tree. And if you end up with a right to left wind, it's very difficult. See if this can bounce up to this. Should be really good. Oh man, look at this thing run. Looked like it was going to be really good, but it just took off across the green. Wow. Okay, did not expect to be off the back of the green. Yeah, like I said, I'm not big on putting huge breaks here and there. I've done some, some things with 2 tiers and things like that. But for the most part, I try and go more towards the subtle, less is more approach. I think it's a fine line between, making your greens crazy and really difficult, but with the way the accuracy you can hit the ball in this game.
Nice. All right, nice little 2-foot
The
putt.
greens sort of become the great equalizer. So if you want a really tough course, you either have to make the
tapping in for
fairways
birdie,
tiny
not
or
too shabby.
big breaks on your greens and things. So
All right, currently sitting at
I'm trying to get to
14
that point
points.
where I'm getting it down to make the greens challenging but not unfair. So anyway, so this is number 7, plays downhill, kind of to an open area. I like the way those houses came out on the hill. They must have a sweet view of the course. And downwind, you're fine. You should clear this tree on the corner. Into the wind, you want to play out left because you will not have a chance to get around that tree. Play over the junk and up here to the green. So downwind, you can pretty much go right down the middle, and you won't really have an issue with that
looking
tree
good.
on the corner. And see, pretty much if you kind of put it right in where that bend is, just over the bunker, if you're into the wind, that's when you're going to run into an issue.
All right, we're right around 165 yards out.
So 165. It is up 25. I'm going to try and loft it down just a touch and see. You basically just want to come in over that bunker and it'll release right to the hole like that. So that's pretty good
you're
right
on
there.
The green now for the birdie.
Had a
here.
really good shot with my ghost in that round. Nope.
Oh, so close.
Alright, so
Alrighty,
tapping
moving
for
on.
the par. And we move on to number 8 is
All right, scorecard
long
saying
par 3,
16 points after
playing
that hole.
just a little downhill. Yeah, Fusion, I agree. Definitely not. That's kind of when I decided to do this thing I'm doing here. I'm playing against myself because I was trying to set up a match. That's why the name on the Twitch feed is wrong. I was trying to set up a match, but I don't have the person's ghost, so I'm trying to get him on my friends list. But what I do is it's called Beat the Designer, the Xbox version. So I play courses against people who have designed them on the Xbox, play against their ghost in a little match. Hopefully something fun to watch, and it gives a little exposure to the Xbox designers. So usually I'm more commenting on the action, the match itself,
like this is a
but
beauty.
since I'm just playing one of my ghosts, and this is my own course, I figured I would just kind of go through and talk about, design
Hey, on the
decisions
green, good
and
stuff.
kind of
All
what
right,
I
this
was
next
thinking when I
one's for birdie.
made the course. Not to mention this ghost I have is like a -11. It's my best round on this course, so it's going to be extremely difficult to beat. 13 footer. Did I get it out far enough? Nope. Ah.
All right, let's check the scorecard
All right,
here.
so that's 8 holes. Regarding the match, I'm actually down 2 points to my ghosts. I think it's going to be a really tall task to beat
Keep
them.
an eye
So
on that wind.
this hole here,
On this hole.
I went with the long par 5. I did a bump out on the fairway on the left here that is reachable if it's into a side wind, maybe a slight into the wind, but if you're downwind, easily clear it. And what that does, if you can get out there, it probably shortens it by about 20 yards. So you'll end up, it's a tougher angle in from out there, but you get the shorter distance, so you can probably reach to the middle of the green. And on this green, everything kind of filters to the left, so if you throw that shot out right, it'll end up coming back. So 8 miles an hour. I gotta test it. I don't know that you can reach it with 8 miles, but let's see. I'll give it a shot, since 100% is absolutely crucial. Looks like. Okay, see.
Nice.
Now I'm hitting the rough, just barely making it on. That pretty much killed everything, so there's really no benefit to going out there now because I'm not going to get home from there anyway, I don't think. So if you're into the wind like that, you're better off just going out to the right and having an easier shot, because that I just lost so much yardage of not getting the roll on the fairway. Sort of, not really. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking, I've played quite a bit. I've been playing real golf for about 30 years, so I just try and think, what have I seen in real life? And that's what I try and emulate on my courses. So, when you see slopes, like fairways, you're not going to see fairways that go up the side of a hill a little bit, because it'd be impossible for a mower to cut that. So that's kind of what I think about when I'm looking my earlier designs. Yeah, I think I missed that. I kind of learned that, or started really focusing on that more in my last 4 or 5 courses. But in terms of breaks on the greens, if I see a hill coming down, I'll try and add that break into the green. But most of the times I'm kind of just getting in there and working the slopes a little bit. A little too hard, but still good. Still good birdie chance.
Okay, let's see what you can do with his 8-footer. Perfect.
All right. Nice bird. So, not a tough hole, but
All right,
even though the
it's looking
distance
like you're
555, if you can go out to that
21
short,
points after that hole.
that shorter fairway, you can
Okay,
get
it's
home.
time to send this ball on its way.
Yeah, the impossible mower, exactly. All right, so this one, back-to-back par 5s. You finish the front 9. This upper fairway, you can actually drive it through the fairway up here. The lower fairway, you need a downwind or a crosswind at best to reach that lower fairway. But when it ends up happening is the lower fairway, you're much lower. You only have maybe 6-7 feet down to the green, where if you're at the upper fairway, you'll have a longer shot, but you're about 20 feet higher, so your ball will definitely travel farther. So I don't think, 5 miles an hour, I don't think there's any hope of getting down there. Kind of funny, but you never actually get to see this, but there's a nice little staircase. It's kind of one of those things you design in and then you lose it when you play the actual course. Yeah, definitely, that's it. I was watching Crazy Canuck. He does the reviews on the HB forums. I watched a couple of his videos, and I learned this technique of how to make this rough so perfect. I never knew how to do it, and my earlier courses, you'll see it's kind of all over. I was trying to follow it. It was so hard to do. But I watched his videos, and I think, I'm not sure where he had learned it, but when you lay your piece of fairway down, don't move your brush and just switch to rough, and then you just increase the brush just a little bit, and then boom, knock down, put down about four pieces of rough, and it'll, every time you hit it, if you don't move it, it'll keep expanding a little bit. and that way it comes out like this. So now you look at your rough, and it looks so much more polished. It follows nicely around the fairway, and I mean, you can make that. The more times you press the button, the farther. So if you wanted to, this is a fairly thin piece of light rough, but if you wanted to make a longer first cut, just hit the button maybe 5 or 6 times, or increase it out a little bit when you start it, but you get it to follow. I mean, it looks so much more polished than what I had been doing in the past. So I think, it's all these little things, but
Should
if you
be
watch,
fairway.
find some of the videos from the top designers, see, that's probably going to go through. Nope. Watch some of those videos. I mean, you'll get some great tips. Now, my big thing I'm working on is bunkering, is just trying to figure out how to get the proper sloping and sculpting. But I think putting this that fairway rough combo is taking my courses to the next level, and I think that if we can get the bunkering and general sculpting, I think that's the next step in my course building to take it up even another level.
Looks
All
like
right.
you're gonna hit some sand.
I pulled it. So from up there, I mean, you can definitely reach if you hit a good shot, unlike that. Yeah, but like I said, just the designing
Well,
part,
that's sand. That's
you keep
all.
keep practicing. I don't think anybody's first courses were great, but everybody's first courses, they probably, at least early on, they didn't have access to these great tips and everything. So I mean, try and watch a few designs. I know Taste has some videos out there. Crazy Canuck, I know, puts them out. I'm sure a few other people have some videos out, and it's really worth watching. You pick up a lot of tips that a lot of tips that you would not have, you wouldn't have thought about.
This one for the save.
How do I start designing? So basically, yeah, what I do is I set up the land, your little sliders of water, hills, and
Solid
trees.
Stroke on that
And,
one. Well done.
It kind of depends on what
And
what kind of course I'm thinking about.
23 points.
And then I actually go in. I really don't sketch anything out. I've done it once or twice. I've kind of, like the 18th hole of this course and the 9th I sketched out. But I just kind of go in and I look at the land, see where things look for a good spot for a clubhouse, put that in, and then of course I want to try and keep it sort of realistic looking. So I try and make, one near the clubhouse and maybe 9 finishes back. Not that every course has 9 finish at the clubhouse, but usually try and do that 1 and 9 by the clubhouse, 10 and 18 finishing by the clubhouse. And then I actually just go through and just look at the land, see what looks good, see kind of where, kind of cliche, but let the course build itself almost, and just, kind of look for depressions or little valleys and things, and that's where I'll kind of route the holes through that. And then, of course, I'll do a lot of sculpting. Sometimes I'll route a hole and look at it, and all of a sudden the tee is way too low, so I'll raise all that land and move it around.
You're
But
looking at around 175
overall,
yard shot here.
I tend to do 1 hole at a time. I just usually start at 1, and this course actually did a little something different. I think I built out 1 through 9 and maybe 10. And then, because I made 9 and 10 a par 5, I actually had 12 as a par 5 as well, and I wanted 18. I didn't want 5 par 5, so I went to 12 and made it a par 4. And then basically just built that hole, the 12th hole, completely out. And then I built 18. I wanted to do that as well. I made this like a cape hole all around the water, just kept swinging around. And then I was thinking about, I said, 17, I'd like to make a nice par 3,
Okay,
17th, and that kind of angles up along the water. I was kind of thinking of like Kiowa. I think it's 17 at Kiowa, where they played the Ryder Cup. That hole, you kind of hitting up, and the green kind of angles up along the water. So I actually built out 17, and then did a few other things. But I do pretty much 1 hole at a time. Get it mostly, at least fairway, rough, everything built out. The last thing, I might go back and kind of, the planting will be the last thing. I try and get the trees right, because sometimes, the lay of the hole, design of the hole can be built around trees if you want to make people kind of hit a hook or draw or fade, around
Oh goodness, that was
around
thoroughly
trees.
disappointing.
So I will kind of do the
All right,
main
nice little
planting
2-foot
of the
putt.
trees, but then I'll go back and do bushes and grasses and things like that. But for the most part, I
All
I
right,
get
let's
the
get outta
hole
here.
playing the way I want, almost done, and then move on to the next hole.
And after that
So
one,
that's
25 points on your scorecard.
kind of the way I do it. I mean the routing itself I do right at the beginning. So I lay out first tee, first green, second green. I do all that, but then go back and start laying fairways. I do everything from scratch, so nothing is done for me except the tee and the green. And actually, just
Nice.
recently on the
Should be in
course
the
I'm working on now,
fairway.
I've started removing the tee box and changing it because it's actually green for the surface. So I've been changing it to fairway.
Looking at around 100
And I still, even the greens, I make them as small as possible.
Here, I'd say.
And then I increase them to the design I want. So, anyway, this was a hole that I had changed. I'd gone back. It was actually sunken down. I was almost going to put the green surrounded by water, and I said, that's been done so many times. Let me raise it up. And when I did, I said, you know what, let me put sand all around. So, kind of a little different idea. I think my only critique of this hole would be I think I made the green a little too big for such a short shot. Now maybe the idea would have been better. I could have leaving the green that big and maybe reducing the fairway down would have been the better idea. Because if you're in the rough hitting into this green, definitely be a little more interesting. But now, being with such a wide fairway, you're pretty much always going to hit the fairway. So it becomes, all that sand is really just visual. A little visual treat as you watch. But, I mean, for the most part, I can't see anybody ever really going in the
let's see what
sand.
you can do with this 7-footer.
There my ghost, another birdie.
Yes.
There we go. So this was when I got
Right
to
after that
12,
hole,
or
28
excuse me,
points on the
13 and
scorecard.
14 here. I was struggling with these last two holes. I did not know what to do, but I had this sort of natural valley here. As you can see, that's 14 on the right. And I just thought, I said, you know what, I'll make a hole going down one side and the other hole coming back, and I put all that mounding and sort of scrub and everything kind of to differentiate the holes. And as it turned out, I really like it. I think it came out really good. 13, it's not, shortish, not really, maybe a medium par 4, I guess, but especially downwind, I mean, you'll have a short iron in, and then 14, you're up on the hill playing down, so it's a much longer par 4, but you're up high on the hill. And the prevailing wind seems to be this every time. I mean, I've had different winds, but it's usually 13's downwind, 14's into the wind, so you get that big high advantage, but then you're into the wind.
This one's a beauty.
Looks pretty good. There we go. Oh, don't spin. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
For the bird.
Yeah, I really like it. It was funny because I just struggled and struggled. It took me forever. I was just kind of sitting there looking at it and saying, what should I do with these holes? I couldn't figure it out. And then, I just started laying out 13, and then I just realized that 14 would be perfect. I mean, I had it from the very start. I kind of had it routed next to each other, but then I kind of sculpted that hill a little more, and so made it a little bit higher on the left. And then I came up with that idea to go down the middle to separate the two holes. So that bunker on the left, if it is downwind, you can reach it. And then I did a nice little rock. I like the rock formation with the plantings kind of hiding in amongst the rocks. I've started doing that on my last couple of courses. I kind of like the way that little look. So you can see into the wind, you're not getting to that bunker. It's really no worry, but downwind, you would definitely get there.
Looks like about
So now,
205
just a slightly
yards
uphill.
in here.
It looks actually a lot worse from the fairway. When you're out there, it looks like, wow, this is really uphill, but technically it's only up 5. So it's almost, I can't say I really planned that, but it gives you almost a visual like, oh man, this is really uphill, but it actually isn't. Into that wind, I think I got to club down or punch down just a little. Hopefully I can get there. Yeah, I agree. Multiple pins would be really cool. Just because, I mean, you can do it, and there are a bunch of courses.
Okay,
I know
you're on the
Magnolia
green.
National.
Say that.
He did that. He did
Okay,
4
for the birdie.
pins, so it's definitely possible. And I mean, if this course were to really take off, then that's definitely something I might think about. It's definitely fun. I mean, it'd be really fun to play the course and just with different pin positions, and you know, it would make it very interesting. And just the holes would play different, even though it's the same layout. Just playing to a different pin could really change the hole a lot. But I agree, it'd be awesome if they could do it in-game. And so when you're designing it, you just pick, they could just say, okay, where do you want to put pin number 1, pin number 2, and then, I don't know, I'm not really sure how it would work, though. When you go to play it, you'd have to decide which pins you want to play, I guess.
All right, it's looking like 33 points on the scorecard after that hole.
Yeah, that's that's kind of I guess, my signature, I guess you could say. I don't know, but I tend to make my greens. There's been a couple of my courses have been fairly small, but for the most part, my greens and my fairways tend to be really big, and that's something I've been trying to work on as well. I mean, I'm not trying to make little toothpicks for fairways, but at least, maybe a little more challenging, or just bring them down a little bit, because there's been a couple of times where I've been on the fairway and the view on the screen, you can't even see the sides of the fairway, so that's probably just a little too big. Yeah, Yeltsman, I agree. Like I said, it would be awesome to play the same layout, but have different pins or tees, what have you. I mean, that would completely change the way the holes would play. See, there's too much. You got to hit that front of the green. There is a little side slope and a little feeding from front to back. So if you can hit it on that front of the green, it should feed down nice. I hit this a little too far into the green. But I said, if this course takes off and starts getting a lot of plays, it might be something I might do it anyway. I've never really thought about putting, a second pin set, but that might be it might be something I attempt maybe after I finish the course I'm working on now.
Well done.
Which is, I'm actually doing something in the Boreal theme. I went back to that.
35 points after that hole. Let's put this
maybe
ball
I'll come
down
back
in
to
the
this
fairway.
and do a a different set of pins. So this is 16, again, long par 4, but it plays downhill. So it's, again, the yardage on this course is like 72, 73, I think, but
good.
It doesn't play nearly that long. There's a number of elevated tees, and especially like 18, you can just cut off so much yardage, so that hole doesn't play nearly as long.
All right, looking at 150 yards-ish.
Yes, Yelsman, we have to keep on him. We keep asking him about it. I don't know. It sounds like they have a pretty small studio, so it's hard to tell, what we'll get, what we'll not get. But I mean, multiple pins would be great. Obviously, unplayable lies, out of bounds type stuff. I mean, while I do think it'd be cool for the progression system they're talking about, I haven't really missed it, to be honest. And I know, with Tiger, you've always had that and stuff. But in this game, I don't know. I can't say I've been jonesing for it, but it'd certainly be a cool addition, depending on how it's done. I'm sure they'll do it well. There we go. We can do that more often.
Seriously, that was magnificent.
Yeah, like I said, Fusion, I'm not sure how they would do it in the designer, but it's the other question becomes, well, I guess if you set up tournaments, I mean, you could always set it up so everybody plays the same pin. But I'm just not sure
17th hole.
how they would do that. But
shot.
Anyway, so this is 17. Kind of want to make that par 3 along the water, kind of angles up away, so that pin on the left side kind of makes you take it on a little bit if you stay well right. you know, you could end up in the collection area down there. Certainly if you hit this section, you lose it. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Those flowers. I don't know. Those single flowers. I don't know. I contemplated taking them out. I'm not sure about those. But it is what it is. So this one downwind, it plays slightly downhill. If you can hit that front of the green. Really makes it tough here, I think, to get it tight in there.
Beauty.
So even that, I'm guessing, is going to roll out a little bit. Yeah, so to get it really close,
Nicely
you got to
done.
take
You're on
on
the
that
green there.
that bank.
This is for
And if
birdie.
the wind is blowing left to right, it becomes really good.
That was
There we
brilliant.
go. So that's how the hole's played.
Okay, and you're sitting at 41 points after that hole.
Yeah, I guess that would be the way to
Well,
do it. You know,
just
choose your
letting you know
options
it's
for
a bit windy out there,
pins.
so keep that in mind as you go onto the tee.
In terms of the ghosts, I mean, I like the fact they're there. It's definitely a good option to have. See now this right here, I give you the option. How much do you want to bite off on this hole? So you can see my ghost just barely made it. I think with the left to right wind, if I go at this bunker, I think I want to be just inside the bunker. I think I can. Absolute must to hit 100%.
It's looking good.
Yeah, that was plenty. Yeah, that could be.
Looking at a 210 or so
It could
yard
be
shot
different
here.
colored flags or something. I'm not sure, you know. Not sure how they're gonna. Hopefully, I mean, with enough people talking about it, hopefully it is something that will definitely come. But no matter when and how they do it. So that's the thing. Like, I don't mind if it takes a little longer as long as they get it right. You know, I'd rather them make sure it works perfectly and everything is good the way it's designed instead of just throwing it in there, which I think they've done. I don't think they've ever really just thrown something into the game, hazardly, whatever. All right, so you got to try and figure out this wind. Did I hit too much, or is that good? It's going to roll out a little bit. And the tough putt is from back here. This is a tough pin placement.
Whoa, yeah, you hit the green and under regulation
So
on
you
this
get
one. You
pretty
sink
downhill.
this next putt.
And
now
my
we're
ghost
cooking.
makes eagle. I said it was a tough one, so I want to try and just get this out here and let it feed down the hill, I think. 18. Maybe that might not be enough. I think I'm still going out. Just really got to get it out there. Even that wasn't far enough out.
Ouch. You could have had your eagle there.
So anyway, that's my
There we go. Nice
golf
easy
club at
one
Hunter
to
Meadows.
finish off
Kind of
the
what I was
round.
thinking about as I went through and
And at
designed
the end of the
everything.
round, you're going to end up with 44 points.
tough to beat that ghost. Minus
Alrighty.
11 ghost.
Thank you very much for the round, and we'll
But
see you next time.
yeah, so this was part of the Beat the Designer series, the Xbox version. My name is the Headhunter. I was hoping to play Cypress Point Golf Club, but I need to get the designer on my friends list so that way I have a ghost that's accessible. So hopefully we'll get that squared away, and I'll see if I can't get that done today. If not, hopefully I'll get that one tomorrow. And if anybody's looking for a match, post something. I have a thread on the HB forums called Beat the Designer, the Xbox version. Just post a message in there. Obviously, you have to be an Xbox designer. That way I can access your ghost. Hopefully, you've played the course already as well. If it's something you just recently submitted, then just try and get a round in so I have someone to play. And that'd be great. So, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.